This is Beyond the Moon, a Ditch Witch podcast where we dig deep into news, job site stories, Ditch Witch culture, and all the other dirt that makes up the industry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Moon. I am Sean Hubbard. I'll be your host today. I'm joined by Nana Dilbeck.
Yeah, or Amber.
Amber Dilbeck, that's right. Nana is reserved for, I think, one very special person.
One very special young man, yes.
And it's not me. So Amber Dilbeck is with us here today. And we're going to jump right in with Amber. But I did want to give a quick shout out to Callie Curtis, who Amber knows. She is, use air quotes here, new to the Ditch Witch world. I think she started probably in summer or fall, maybe, of 2024.
Yes.
And she is, I don't know what her official title is, events manager. So she puts together all of our trade show stuffs and all of our conferences that we go to. And it's a very demanding job. And I feel like she has just hit the ground running, and she's just been killing it. So we had a bunch of conferences, right? We had 3 right at the end and the beginning of the year. This the calendar's rolling. Yep. We had ARA in Las Vegas. We've got Wet Show in Indianapolis. We've got CGA in Orlando. We've got Bauma in...
We have a very busy spring.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. And she's got her fingerprints all over it. And everything that I've heard from everybody as far as the conferences went was it was a home run.
Absolutely. She did a fantastic job. I've known Callie since she was little. She's the same age as my daughter.
Oh, okay.
So she's doing a great job.
Yeah, she's killing it. So keep going, Callie. It's awesome. I know
Callie.
She brought some pickleball tournaments to our
did,
sales.
and everyone loved it.
I know, it's crazy. When they were talking about doing that, I went, I don't think a bunch of people are going to play pickleball.
I was shocked.
They did, and they loved it.
And loved it.
I did not play. I just observed.
Me either. I'm more of a cheerleader.
Yeah, me too. I'm the cheerleading type. But so hopping into it with Amber. Amber and I got to know each other years ago as accidental travel buddies on the way home from Louisville, Kentucky, a trade show we were at.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was, we kind of bebopped through the airport together and had a couple meals and a couple beers probably and just kind of got to know each other. And at that point, I was a little bit, I don't know, shocked is the word. You're a biker.
Yes.
You like to bike. So let's talk about that a little bit. When did your affinity for motorcycles start, or how did this all come about?
Well, I've grown up around them my whole life.
Okay.
My dad was a biker. He rode Harleys when I was a kid.
And
then I met my husband, and he happened to have a motorcycle. And we love to travel, and the Harley is our favorite way to travel.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what kind of bike. Like,
it's a Harley.
Needs to be a Harley?
It needs to be a Harley. It has to be.
My parents used to have a Honda Goldwing, I think is what it's called.
My dad had one of those.
Okay.
Like, when me and my sisters came along, he still wanted to ride, but he needed a family bike.
Right.
So he actually had a motorcycle with all 3 of us girls on it before.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny when talking about my parents driving around on that Honda Goldwing. My mom would be on the back, and she described it as like a recliner. It's there's like a sofa in the back of that thing. I just ride back there.
Yeah, I get very comfortable. I've been known to fall asleep, so comfortable on it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you too. Do you have your own bike, or are you a rider?
I do not. No, I'm a rider. I get to enjoy the scenery a little better when I ride. And we'll be going along, and I'll go, oh, look at this, and look at. He's like, no, I have to ride. You get to look at all that.
You're a passenger princess.
I'm a passenger princess.
That's one way to put it. So what do you guys do? I mean, do you go on poker runs, or do you go on long trips?
We do it all. Yeah, we do long trips. We do a lot of poker runs. We've been to the Rocky Mountains, to the Smoky Mountains. Okay. And then this year we're going to go to our first Sturgis rally.
That should be a good time.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. So what's your, you mentioned the 2 main mountain ranges in the United States. Is there a favorite place that you guys have one that you go back to all the time?
Tennessee is my favorite.
Okay.
Because you can go at any time. Like if we go in May or July, we've been to July at the Rockies, you'll still hit snow.
Right.
So we've been through every manageable weather possible. So if we go to Tennessee, though, and we go in the summertime, it's pretty mild weather.
Yep.
So, and the scenery is beautiful, and the people are wonderful. We've always been treated very well.
So do you guys get after it? I mean, so I'm thinking Eastern Tennessee, Knoxville, and kind of getting down in the Smoky Mountain areas.
Oh, yeah.
Is this a day-long trip you take to get down there, or do you go a scenic route and this is going to be a 3-day?
It depends on what we decide to do. We've been a couple of times. We try to take a different route every time. We've done the Tail of the Dragon, which is a big road in Tennessee that all bikers go to. It's like 365 curves in like 7 miles.
Yeah.
So you're like constant.
Which is why your husband has to pay attention.
Which is why he has to pay attention.
So you are not new to the Ditch Witch world.
I am not.
So let's talk about your work backstory a little bit. I think you and I were talking recently, and you said that you were working your way. You were working at Ditch Witch while you were in school. So
I was.
How did your Ditch Witch career or relationship even start?
Well, I'm from Perry. I graduated high school there. So as I was putting myself through college, I did various things. Like I was on the 2720 line. I helped build that machine. I've worked in our company store. I've picked parts. And then when I got out of undergrad, I went to work for another company. And then a position 20 years ago came up for a full-time market research analyst. And that's how I started my full-time career 20 years ago at Ditch Witch.
Did you like your time on the floor, or was it just something?
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, growing up in Perry, it's a small community, everybody that works at Ditch Witch, so it was just an easy transition.
To hop into it. So now you are in a, 10-year-old, 12-year-old department that was essentially a department of one when it started?
Me.
Yeah, so you were the one. So what is that department, and what is your title now? What do you do?
My title is Business Application Manager, and I work in the CE department. This came about of trying to create a one-to-one engagement with our customers.
Okay.
And what we do is we produce applications that are customer-facing. So things like our parts lookup, our HDD advisor, any of the applications that associate with our products that our customers use.
Okay, and you said you're part of the CE group. That's an acronym for what?
Customer engagement.
Customer engagement. Okay, so are you like the idea person? Do you come up with, you know what, we need an app for this? Or are you like the technical, like I'm going to build this thing?
Sometimes. It depends. I mean, really, some of it we've already had, and it's just taking it to the next level, bringing it into the future kind of thing. Like, for instance, what I have now is Orange Intel, which is our telematics program. We've had telematics for over a decade now, but now it's time to take it to that next level and bring it into the future.
Telematics is, for dumb people like myself, very confusing. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of parameters that you can look at that are beneficial to you as a owner or a fleet manager or whatever of this equipment. And you live in that world. So I want to get into that a little bit as far as Orange Intel, which is the service that Ditch Witch provides for telematics on its equipment. But how do people benefit from a telematics program like Orange Intel, or how are they using it?
Normally, everybody associates telematics with like location and security. And that's certainly an aspect of what we do. Think about it like your car, theft device, those kinds of things. But we take it one step further. We have things that, for instance, like the health of your machine. If something goes wrong with that machine, it sets off a code, and it'll tell you something is wrong with this machine.
Right.
And then we have the preventative maintenance of it. So it'll tell you you're due for a service, and it keeps that asset that's responsible for your livelihood in production.
Right.
And then we have the production side of it, which tells you what happened on that job with that machine. So you can tell a lot from the data that comes off the machines of actually what that job entailed.
There's a lot of important information that comes out of there, and it's to your point, you called it the livelihood of those people.
Yes.
So would you say that Orange Intel, like its sole purpose or primary purpose maybe, is just for folks to make as much money as possible, reduce downtime? Like, what's the overarching?
All of the above. And I say a lot of people in the past have seen Orange Intel as like just a nice to have to the machine.
Right.
As our machines have become more advanced, it's more of a part of the machine.
Okay.
It's something that you now have to have. You can't have one without the other anymore.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you too. So we've had Orange Intel or telematics for a decade now, and you said now it's kind of time to advance it.
Yes.
In your expert opinion, why is now? Why is it now? Why is now
That's
the time?
a very good question. One of the reasons is that regulations are becoming more strict. Whenever in places like California or even Europe, when you do a job, you're required to submit some supportive data on what that job is. And to our customers, a lot of these like municipalities and government agencies are paying our customers based off of the data. Like, we'll pay you extra if you can prove you hit rock.
Right.
Sort of thing. So now it's becoming more of a have to have just to get paid.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I remember, I don't know if it was Corey Maker or somebody else that's kind of got some fingerprints on Orange Intel, is just that aspect in itself, that you can look at data within the telematics platform or program that will show that, okay, we were going through dirt, this is easy, we're rolling,
Right.
and then, we had to go through 100 feet of rock. And those people are making more money now because they can prove
Right.
the surfaces that they're going through.
Well, and when you hit rock, sometimes it slows the job down. Like if I'm
Right.
2 or 3 days behind, here's why I'm 2 or 3 days behind is because I hit rock and it
It's like,
took me
hey,
a
I
longer
wasn't just
time.
slacking off over here.
Right.
Okay.
It's like there's a reason I did this.
Yeah.
So, and now you have the data to back it up.
Okay. So in your role, it's consumed obviously a lot by Orange Intel and the telematics stuff, but you did mention HDD Advisor and Parts Lookup. What are those and how do customers use those?
So Parts Lookup is an application where you can access your operator's manuals and our parts books.
Okay.
It's not an e-commerce site per se, but you can even go in and pick your parts, and then you can email it to your dealer and say, have these ready for me. I'm swinging by at lunch.
Right.
I need them.
It's like, pull these parts, I'm coming.
Yes, pull
Yeah.
these parts, I'm coming. So it's a way to kind of save time and also kind of self-serve. HDD Advisors, where you go in and you build your drill string and your downhole tools for that drill for a specific job.
And I always thought it was cool about HDD Advisor is like I could do it. Like a dummy, like it's foolproof. You cannot buy the wrong part as long as your inputs are correct, right?
Some of the things that we do is hard. Like you said, telematics can be very confusing, but what we try to do in any of the applications is make sure that it's simplified and makes sense to the masses.
So yeah, you've got an interesting role. It's highly technical, data-driven, in my world, very complicated stuff to understand that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis with the objective of simplifying it to where customers can understand it.
Yes.
It's wildly important to our customers to have access to a lot of this information, a lot of this data, and I'm glad that you have the hat on to make that possible. Because it's
I do
something
enjoy
I
my
would
job.
fail out. Yeah, that's good. You used to, you were in the marketing group for a little while, right?
I was. Yeah, I started as a research analyst.
Okay.
So market research, pulling data, doing market share, those kinds of things. So it's always data's always been a part of my world.
You're a nerd.
Yeah, I'm a geek.
But yeah, we're kind of talking about some of the stuff that you did early in your career at Ditch Witch. And you're from Perry, so it's hard not to know what Ditch Witch was. But did you see Ditch Witch as a career option for you, or so how did that come about?
That's an interesting story. I originally wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, okay.
But God had other plans and made me a mom first.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's good. That's a better plan.
Yeah, it was a way better plan.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for my life, but that kind of changed the plans a little bit, and that it was very hard. At the time, I didn't feel like med school was going to take a lot of my time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I still wanted to concentrate on being this mom that I now became. So my second backup was business. I've always had a head for it. I've always liked it. So that's the career choice I went down. And I went into marketing because I have this creative side that I like to mold.
Okay.
That's not exactly how as we just discussed, how my career went. But what I do like about the telematics side is that it's kind of a gray area. And it allows me to think outside the box and still nurture that creative side of me.
Right.
And do things differently than what our competitors do, or things that maybe even customers haven't even thought of.
Yeah. No, that's awesome to think about. And you and I were talking too, and you're from Perry, graduated from Perry High School. Your dad or your parents were bikers, but he was also a police officer.
A police officer.
Yeah. So did that ever cross your mind? Did you ever think Amber
Absolutely
Dilbeck
not.
was going to be a patrol lady?
No, absolutely not. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
They have a very special person to do that job.
It's not me either.
Nope.
No, I'm on the other side of that a lot of times.
Me too. You would think having a dad that's a cop,
Right.
you wouldn't be on the other side,
Yeah.
but sometimes.
Well, that's okay.
I was a kid once.
Yeah, we like to have fun, or used to like to have fun.
Used to we're too old for that now,
Adult
right?
now, yeah, that's right. So, growing up in Perry, now you work in Perry. You have a degree from Oklahoma State University. Mm-hmm. So what is it like being back in your hometown as an adult, a mother of...
Together, my husband and I have 5.
5. Yeah. But you're empty nesters.
Close. We have one. She'll be 16 this year. But,
okay.
But we're very, very close.
So what's that like? Ended up back in the hometown that you started in. That I don't know if that was the original plan or not.
It was wonderful. Again, we were very young parents, and it really does take a village. And so being a teen mom and going to school and working, you need that help.
Oh,
so
yeah.
being from a small
plate.
Community, I always had that help, whether it be my friends or people that I went to school with or my parents or my sisters. It was always close-knit. So I didn't really have to worry about where my children were. And anytime they got in trouble, I always knew.
That's right. First to find out.
Everybody knows you.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's probably even more pressure when your dad's a police officer.
Well, yeah.
Find
that
everything
happens
out.
too. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what do your kids do? Did any of them work at Ditch Witch, or they want to work at Ditch Witch?
No, okay. None of them work at Ditch Witch. My oldest daughter is a teacher in Arkansas,
okay.
And then I have 2 in nursing school.
So they're a little bit everywhere.
Yes, and our son works in Claremore here in the Tulsa area.
Yeah.
And he is the proud father of our grandson. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
And then Josie, she is our youngest, and she's still in high school. So.
How old's your grandson?
He is 2.5. He's at a very fun age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fun age for grandparents to say, oh, this is your problem now.
Yes. It's, as you go through stages of life, everyone tries to prep you or warn you.
Right.
And you don't get it until you get it.
Yeah.
And so when he came along, I'm like, oh, I totally get it now. They keep telling me being a grandparent is awesome.
Right.
And it really is. It's the reason you didn't kill your kids when you were growing up. So
yeah, that's what you're looking forward to. Yeah, so I'm getting close to the age of potential grandparenthood, and if my son is watching or my daughter, we're not ready for that, so don't do it. But it is interesting to think that you're a young lady and you're a grandma. But
I know it's weird for people to oh, are you sure you're a grandma?
Well, I know it's kind of funny. So we're without getting too specific, we're both in our 40s here, and it's a weird age because I have friends that are a little bit older than me that have 2-year-old kids,
right?
And I have friends like you that have 2-year-old grandkids,
right?
So it's just kind of a
it's a range.
Yeah,
of
that's
everything.
Right. It's wild. So we are bumping up against the clock here a little bit, and I do have a random question of the day that I want to ask you.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah, in all transparency, Amber does have an agenda of things that I wanted to talk about today, but she has no idea what this question is. So it's just we're going to fly by the seat of our pants here, and
Love it.
It's something that I think about a lot, and that I have a good answer for, I think. But say you just won the lottery.
Okay.
You won $50 million. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Am I going to see you at work tomorrow, or what's your play?
Yes, you'll see me at work tomorrow because I really like the project that I'm doing.
Okay.
So it's as much about earning a paycheck as it is that I like what I do.
Yeah.
But I will invest it
Boring.
in real estate because I do love real estate.
Oh yeah.
I will invest it in real estate, and it would be more of this is more for fun than anything at that point.
Right.
So if it's I'm not going to do that today, then you might not see me the next day after that.
Yeah, no, we'll see what happens. Yeah, but you mentioned the real estate stuff, and I kind of forgot that we had talked about that. So what do you do in real estate?
We flip houses, and I dipped my hand about 2 years ago in multifamily rentals.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's that?
I love it.
Okay.
We own one duplex right now. I was just trying to get my feet wet and being a landlord.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of lessons.
I'm sure.
But I do love it. I have plans to hopefully buy at least one more duplex this year, maybe 2. But what I really like to do is flip houses. It allows me to be strategic and mold that business side of me and grow that business acumen that's required to own a business and run a business. But it also is, again, that creative outlet that I have and desperately need all the time. And every time we finish a house, I'm going, oh, I might want to live here. So
that's right. You might be moving soon.
I might. Yeah, and my husband's always like, you can't live in every one of them we do.
Yes, we can. Let's try it. But, so do you watch HGTV and watch all the...
I used to when I first started out, just getting ideas and stuff. But now, I don't know what I call myself, a pro, but I have an idea on how to do things, and it's an expensive hobby, so that strategic side of it is creatively thinking through how to solve problems and achieve certain goals.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to use other people's money to do that.
Yeah, which is fun. I'm all about that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. I appreciate you hopping on and talking about all the smart things that you do in telematics, and then also dumbing it down so I can have a good conversation with you.
Welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks
you
for coming. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in and listening, and we will catch you all next time. Thanks.
Bye.
See you.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of Beyond the Moon. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform and follow us on social media @Ditch Witch.